I think it's true because if it's gonna get smaller, like I know the angles don't change, but the sides do sometimes.
So
I
the
don't know.
sides, we know that, okay, I'm going to write that down as something else important. The sides change, but the angles do not, right? So actually, let's go ahead and X out which of those answer choices. D, right? Just wanted to get rid of that right off the bat. So now I'm between these B and C, and B and C are very tricky. They are very tricky. So one of them is saying the lengths of JKL are 3/4 the length of GHI, whereas C is saying the opposite. C is saying the lengths of GHI are 3/4 the lengths of JKL. Which one is smaller?
JKL.
JKL is smaller. Is smaller. Now, when you multiply something times a fraction, we know it's going to get smaller. That's why the scale factor is a fraction. That's how we know it's going to get smaller. When you multiply something times a fraction, it's the same as division, so it gets smaller. So in this case, Perla, I believe you were correct, right? The lengths of JKL are 3/4 are smaller than the lengths of GHI. So this one had it in the correct order, whereas C had it backwards. And that's something it can get tricky sometimes, especially when you don't have a picture. Always remember that when you multiply something by a fraction, it reduces, it gets smaller. If you multiply something by a whole number, it gets larger. However, what if you were multiplying it by, what if K was 4/3? If K was 4/3, would it get larger or smaller?
It would get larger because even though it's a fraction, it's an improper fraction, meaning that it's going to be larger than one.
Good. Because remember, 4/3 it's improper. Really, 4/3 is 1.3333333. It's greater than 1. So even though it's a fraction, that's where you have to be very careful. Don't just think about it as a fraction. Think about, okay, is it between 0 and 1, or is it greater than 1? So that's the only thing that you just have to be very careful about. All right, any questions on this one? Awesome, awesome. All right. Oh, I copied the same one by accident. My bad. All right. I want you guys to read this one and on your own see if you can figure out where those keywords are going to go into the blanks. Jalen, you want to go ahead and read it? Just say blank at every blank.
I don't think your mic is working. Do you hear him, Miss? I don't hear him.
No, I don't hear you either.
Sad. Is that better?
There you go.
Yeah.
Triangle ABC is dilated with the center of dilation at the origin and the scale factor of 2. To obtain triangle ABC prime, the triangles are because the side lengths are and their angles are.
All right.
Period.
Perfect. So go ahead, take about a minute to think about where you think these are going to go, and then we will do it together. All right, guys. Here we go. The triangles are what?
I think they're similar.
Good. The triangles are similar because their side lengths are
Proportional.
proportional. Very good. And their angles are
Equal. Wait. Yeah, equal.
equal, or what else could you have put there?
Similar.
Similar.
No. Careful.
Congruent.
Congruent.
Congruent. Yeah. Equal or congruent. And you just have to be very careful because the word similar in like real life, if I'm saying that, my hair color is similar to Janelle's hair color, or I don't know, Emily's hair color. In the real world, that kind of sounds like similar means the same. But in geometry, similar does not always mean the same. Okay, it has a very specific definition, so we got to be very careful with it. Questions on this one? All right. Okay, here's another one. Again, I'm giving you guys a lot of problems that don't have images because it's important. You guys know already these tests love to put these types of problems. You got to be very careful. And this is what type of question?
Multiple choice.
Not just multiple choice.
Oh, select all.
Select all, right? So we got 5 options. Select all. Matter of fact, let me put a poll up for this one. And we'll do it. Okay. My poll has an F. Obviously, there is no F, so just don't put F, but go ahead and answer it to the best of your ability.
Miss, I had to disconnect my audio and then reconnect it to try to fix my microphone.
Okay, I can hear you though.
Work.
It's definitely a little bit quieter, but I can hear it. Is anybody else having trouble hearing Perla?
I mean, before it was extremely quiet, but it's a little louder now.
Good.
It's not the same.
Miss, you are very quiet. I don't know how, like, with one little movement, my microphone will grab it. Like
Like
even if I just like move a little bit, but it just sounds like you have your mic off. Like it's absolute silence.
that's because my microphone is set to pick up only can you guys hear any background noise? No, right?
No.
Because it only picks up
No.
like my
I
voice
I
somehow. I
put
don't
the
know.
same thing, like the high resolution, something like that, like
Yeah.
high. I put that too, but it doesn't work for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Two.
All right, guys. 2 people have answered. If you haven't put your answers in, go ahead and do so in the next 30 seconds. All right, guys. 5 people have answered. I'm still waiting on 2 more. So if you have not answered, please do so in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Very interesting. I do have a mixed result. Take a look at you and your classmates' answers. 3 people thought they were funny and they chose F. And we all seem to be pretty close to agreeing about answer choice A. Now let's take a look. This has to be an image that is similar, but not congruent. Not congruent. So what has to happen in order for it to be not congruent? What type of transformation will make something no longer congruent? Good, Tyrone. It's got to have a dilation. Okay? Has to have a dilation. So let's take a look. Answer choice A, translation, 2 units to the left, 3 units up, followed by a dilation. There it is. With a scale factor of 4. So that's definitely going to make it bigger. It's no longer going to be congruent, but it is going to be similar. B, a reflection over the x-axis followed by a rotation of 180 degrees. There's no dilation there, right? This is going to be congruent because it hasn't grown or shrunk. C, rotation of 270 degrees counterclockwise followed by a dilation with a scale factor of 9/10. Again, the scale factor is telling me that it's going to become what? Larger or smaller?
Smaller.
Smaller. So it is no longer congruent. D, reflection over the line y equals x followed by a dilation. There it is again. Scale factor of 1.5. Also going to be, is this one going to be larger or smaller? Good, larger. And then finally, translation 7 units to the right, followed by a rotation 90-degree clockwise. No dilation mentioned. Therefore, it is out. Now, I'm going to add one to the list really quickly. I'll put an F. What if I had this? What if it was a with the scale factor is equal to 1? Would that be in or out?
Out.
Why? Good. Why?
Because when you multiply something by 1, it's going to stay the same.
Stays the same. All right, so this would still be congruent. Stays the same. So that's the other thing. We just got to be careful. If the scale factor is 1, nothing is changing. So we got to make sure we know that. Any questions? Awesome. Here we go. Continuing, who would like to pick up and read this one? Who has not read yet? Who would like to read? Who's being nominated? Rios, Daniel, Emily, or Samaj? Now, I heard from Daniel. However, Daniel, if you want to go again, that's completely up to you. You may do so. Who will step up? Okay, Emily is excused. Rios? Okay, Tyrone, you may go ahead.
Triangle WED is obtained by dilating triangle MON by a scale factor of 3, then translating it 11 units to the right. If WE equals 3 inches, which statement must be correct?
Perfect. All right. So we know a couple things, right? We know the scale factor. We know that it has been translated 11 units to the right. Okay, so triangle WED is obtained by dilating triangle MON. So which one is the pre-image?
MON.
Good. MON was dilated, right? So read it, even though WED comes first in this sentence, read it carefully. WED is obtained by dilating triangle MON. So it goes MON to WED. Now, the scale factor is 3. So whatever MON is, it's times 3. With me so far? Agree? Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to pause there. I'm actually going to put a poll up. I want you guys to see if you can get it on your own, and then we'll do it together. All right, there's the poll. Go ahead and take a look. All righty. So get your answers in if you haven't done so already. Get them in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. D was the winning answer choice. However, there was some debate. It was between C and D for a little bit. There you go. You can see it now. Okay, so we're a little bit torn, I think. This is why it's important to read. I'm going to call Miss Ardythe right now and tell her that y'all are not reading things correctly, because the winning answer was actually The correct answer was actually C. So let's take a look. First of all, let's actually look at this triangle. If I start at just any triangle, M, O, N, and then we know it gets 3 times as big, right? W, E, D. If WE is 3 inches, what is the length of MO? What is the length of MO? Hmm? Good, it is 1. How did Perla get that? Perla, don't answer me. Somebody else tell me, how did Perla know that MO is 1? Because 3 times 1 is 3. We know that the scale factor is 3. Now, does translating make it grow? Will translating make it bigger? No, right? Even though I'm moving it, so basically what happens, I have this triangle somewhere over here. I move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 till it's here. And then if I can maybe make it grow, let's see. And then it grows, right? That's what this is, that's what's happening. It moves to here and then it grows. So the translation, if I translate it, it's not going to change how big the figure is. So this does not change, does not affect the length, which means, okay, B is definitely out. A is also out because the scale factor, we know that it's growing, so they're not going to be the same. Now D had you confused because what did D make it look like? What was D trying to make you think? Read D very carefully. What is D saying? D is making it sound like WED was the pre-image. Come on. It doesn't want to shrink. Okay, it's not letting me shrink it for some reason. There we go. D was saying that the opposite. D was making it look like this was the reality. Okay, like MON was bigger. But if you read carefully from the beginning, you'll know MON is the pre-image, WED is the image. Okay, so that one's the one that's larger. And so therefore, this is definitely incorrect. MO is not 9 inches. It goes the other way. We divide by 3. Divide by 3. And then finally, C is correct because we know that dilations preserve angle measures, which means that angle M is congruent to angle W. That one was 100% true. We know that dilations and similarity, similar figures, have proportional side lengths, but all the angles remain congruent all the way through. So O is congruent to E, and N is congruent to D. So any remaining questions on that one, especially this one, because 3 of you got it, 4 of you got it wrong. I want to make sure you guys understand. Any remaining questions? Okay, awesome. Okay. Oh, this one's not too hard. This is a similarity statement. I'll put another poll up. This one's, again, just about reading it and having it in the correct order. So go ahead, take a look. Ooh,
Bless you.
thank you.
Miss, let me tell you how I was looking at the shape the wrong way.
Uh-oh.
But I haven't chosen my answer yet, so that's good.
Okay, I'm glad you checked. Okay, I have 3 answers in. 30 seconds. Answer it if you haven't done so yet. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Answer choice A is the winning answer. Now let's go ahead and check. So let's see. Everything has to line up, right? So I always try to see, okay, which side is the longest? There's the hypotenuse is AC. AC matches up with AC matches up with
ZY.
ZY. Good. What does BC line up with?
CX.
ZX. You sure?
X.
You're right. You're right.
Wow.
And then AB matches up with XY. So yeah, it can be tricky. You got to make sure the shortest side is with the shortest side. The longest side is with the longest side. The hypotenuse is with the hypotenuse. So if this is true, then I know that if I'm saying A, B, C, I got to say Y, X, Z. So answer choice A is correct. What type of transformation is this? What are 2 transformations that had to occur? Keep sending them in the chat. Send your answers, and then I'll let you know. We'll talk about it. We'll see who's right.
Miss, I was gonna say, like, I think it's 180 degrees rotation, but I was looking at it like AB
Mm-hmm.
was actually it is like that, but I was thinking that AB was XZ. I was looking at it like that, like weird.
So you had it backwards. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I chose the right answer, but
Right.
before I looked at it like that.
Gotcha. I gotcha. So I'm seeing possibly a reflection, possibly a rotation. There's one very big, obvious answer though that I still haven't seen. What's the big obvious one?
Didn't Emily just say it?
Oh, she did. I didn't see. Sorry. Yeah, so it's definitely a dilation. But once you dilate it, more things are going to have to happen. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky because it's not super obvious in this case. So I'm seeing possibly a rotation, possibly a reflection. I'm thinking it might be more than just one other thing because let's think about it for a second. If I go 90 degrees, like Jalen suggested 90 degrees, if I go 90, where am I going to end up? 90 degrees clockwise.
On quadrant. How do you say it?
Quadrant.
Quadrant. Oh my god, I can't talk today. Quadrant 1.
Quadrant 1, right? So I think, Jalen, you're onto something. Let's see. Quadrant 1. I'm going to end up over here somewhere. Now, when I go there, which letter will be facing down?
C.
C would be facing down, right? So I would have B, C, and then A. This is, hold on. Let me do that a little bit better. Like kind of like that, right? B, C would be facing down, A would be over here. And then like Jalen said, after you do that reflection, or not reflection, that rotation, you are still going to have to translate it downward. So from there, it's got to go down. So this one's a 3-step. Sometimes it's just going to be 2 steps, but other times like this, it's going to end up being 3 steps because there's no way to get there just with a dilation plus one more thing. In this case, it had to be a dilation plus a rotation plus a translation. So 3 steps. And obviously that's not what this question was about. However, always good to kind of keep that in mind and practice that whenever we can. Any questions on this one? Alrighty. Okay, well, that is it for these problems. So now there's perfect. There's a half an hour remaining. I said Thursday, but I was going to give you this yesterday, but we didn't get to the end, so I'll push this back by 1 day. So now this is due Friday. What I'm going to do now is go ahead, I'm going to go on to Khan Academy and release I'm going to give you guys 2 assignments. So give me a moment to get those out and then you can begin. Now, what I'm also going to be doing is posting not just the assignment, but the video, because sometimes with the video, he teaches it maybe a little bit differently than how I do it, and it might be helpful to watch that. So I'm putting both. So it looks like a lot, but you only need to watch the videos if you need more help. Okay. Now I do need Rios. Rios, I need you, instead of doing Khan Academy, you still haven't finished iReady. So